Hey there, coaches. It is Rachel Feldman. I am extremely excited today to talk about a question that everyone has been asking when they contact us through yourhealthcoachbiz.com. Be good if I could talk today. This question I see just as a common question that a lot of people are asking because we do serve a lot of different kind of coaches, mindset coaches, IM coaches, functional medicine coaches, weight loss. And so I wanted to make this training about how we help this coach, Mary. Mary came to us. She dropped her question in through yourhealthcoachbiz.com. And she said, hey, I'm a mindset coach. I'm all about habits. I work with corporate professionals, CEOs, really, really busy women. And I'm looking for a program that can be used for my high ticket 5K mastermind program. Well, she's doing a high touch kind of one-on-one. And she's also, of course, doing this as a group. She said, but I also have listened to you. And I do think that not everyone, right now, or even, when somebody maybe doesn't know enough about me, is going to just go all in for my longer program. So we came up with some options. Number one, I said, look, let's build out your freebies first. Your freebies are going to be this this window into what it's like to work with you. So she said, I really want something on, mindset and everything that I teach. But I know that a lot of people I also work with for habits are completely addicted to sugar. So I asked her, as I ask anyone ever looking and they feel like they don't know what to choose, what is your ideal client's biggest problem? Because too often when we're creating our signature offers, we sit there and say, well, I'm going to teach about mindset and habits, but we don't step back enough to say, in the market research that either I've done or that I'm doing with my business coach or I'm doing on my own, what are these glaring problems that are the obstacles for my ideal client? So sugar was this no-brainer. She was like, I have talked to so many people in doing her market research, in asking friends, in asking family, in peer groups, what are your biggest, problems right now? And everyone came back with sugar. So that was a no-brainer. We talked about the ability to use this Evergreen, which means that freebie could be on the front of her website all the time, and somebody could opt in to that 5-day challenge, allowing, of course, 5 follow-up emails, which allows you to build really that trust. You're giving high-value content, and she's leading them, of course, to her mindset programs. And so that was one. The second was she looked at the positive life bundle. She said, you know what? A lot of people, big pain point. A lot of people feel really depressed right now and they feel off and kind of sad and low in energy. And I know that's how I felt in, 2 years ago before I joined this transformation program. I right away said, oh my God, Mary, you're so super clear about the pain that you felt and that you've also done, some research to say, do other people feel this way? And the answer is yes. And so we know that's profitable. So she said, I'm going to use this. Haven't exactly figured out how. I may do lives from this. I know I'm being pushed by my coach to do a masterclass training, just like you said I should do with the content. And so I really envision myself using this in so many different ways. I also told her that what is really beneficial for us as coaches and for our ideal client is we create a systemized process for ourselves. That means, which I said to her, Mary, imagine you have on your YouTube channel, I'm going to upload a video every Friday. Click to subscribe. You can have that 5-day challenge on your website. So there's another way for a person to come in. Imagine you can use this, happy bundle life also as even content for your lives, IGTV, reels, and even use some of the content in blogs. And she was like, say no more, I'm sold. Because understanding the vast opportunities that you can, create for your ideal client, and also create a process for you where you go live every Monday, or you go live every Tuesday on your Facebook business page, and your ideal client knows every Tuesday that's where you are, and every Friday you have a YouTube video. So she's using that content so that she can do what? Perfect her ability to speak her message, perfect her pitch using a workshop, also known as a pitch deck, perfecting her ability to communicate that transformation, to show the transformation, to dive deep into the pain points, to understand how those pain points are affecting that ideal client, that potential client. And if we're not clear on that, they won't convert. And so when she understood and not only how many different ways she can use the content, but she was like, you know what? Everything I've learned in my corporate experience is you do need to practice that aspect. And we also talked about the sales, the confidence of knowing what your offers are, and really that signature method. Please, guys, hear me loud and clear when I say this. And then I'm going to talk about what Coach Amber said to me today on the phone, she's part of my membership. So I just know kind of her business really well and who she serves. Mary said, I understand what's really important about the client journey. I really do understand that I need to develop this signature process. What's beautiful about the programs, and we looked at the 30-day refresh as this simple starter. It's about habit. She works with a lot of people who travel. She works with a lot of people that constantly feel like they know what to do, but they just can't figure out how to implement in their life. This is no different from Niche for Busy Moms. This is no different from Niche for Corporate Wellness. This is really a current problem that we all see. So that's her low cost offer. That can be used on our Work With Me page. It can be used as a group. It could be used as a self-paced do-it-yourself, otherwise known as a DIY. And so that's her starting place. That's step one. We've got to get the habits, in place. And of course, what makes a program or content or anything you buy from us really work? She knows what that signature method that she's teaching. And so taking that program, she's of course going to add these other aspects of, her uniqueness. Because if we don't do that, if we don't know what separates us apart, or we're not clear on the steps that we take with our client, it's really hard to do a powerhouse discovery session. It's really hard to then handle objections because we don't even know what that transformation is offering. You can say I'm offering a 30-day, mindset program on habits, and we're going to refresh. But is that really what that program about? No, it's the beginning entrance to this transformation that Mary's saying. You're going to get out of this depression that you've been in, this fog, and you're going to increase your productivity at work and also not feel exhausted when you come home and sit on the couch and then hate yourself because you're not spending time with your significant other. You're not doing the self-care and the exercise, all the things that actually really are about the transformation. We're just allowing her, Mary, to spend more time cultivating really the promise and who it is for with using the content. So that was step one. Then the second step, she's like, oh my God, 3-month mindset makeover is a no-brainer for me. That really showcases everything I believe. But this other area is really the foundation of how I came out of this transformation. And I know that other people struggle with this too. I said to her, Mary, you should teach that special sauce. You should sprinkle in your own special magic, because that is what is going to allow you to stand in confidence with clarity and conviction. So when you are speaking about your offers on a discovery call, on a webinar, at the end of a challenge, you're leading them to a paid offer, you're nourishing people to become not just consumers and customers, but actually clients. And she was like, oh, okay. And question, Rachel, how can I personalize this without like recreating the wheel? I said, Mary, that is an unbelievable question. So let's just dive into that. I said, this is what I did, Mary. When I was creating the programs, of course, for myself, and then I had Rachel's Wellness and Your Health Coach Biz still operating, I was then launching and working with clients, and I was working at gyms, and I was also doing the programs. The way that I did the programs to make it easy and to be time efficient, and what I said to Mary in response is, what I did for my clients is create 3 videos a week. I mean, the beauty of automation, if you can do this automated, is it creates a really, really unbelievable one-on-one process for your client to go through that program and to say, wow, Rachel recorded this video on how do I buy all the supplies that I need, before I start this program. So that was like a tongue scraper, Epsom salts. And I even did videos back then, just on my phone, or I would do it as a screen share. And so that person wasn't overwhelmed. I feel like that's one of the biggest obstacles. I call it the OO, overwhelmed obstacle that our clients have. The second one was probiotics. The third one may have even been how to do a castor oil pack. Because if I'm asking my client to transform, change their habits when they're already feeling that obstacle, I can't just say, do this program and think that they're going to have a win and they're going to want to either go from that 30-day program to that 3-month or even a higher ticket, more intensive. It would be crazy. They would do that 30-day or that 14, that entry program, and they wouldn't want to continue in the client journey. And the client journey is this beautiful map of really your signature process and method, because unless that person is so ready and so highly committed and they don't have any blockages, like, oh, I can't do this, any fears, any of that old trauma, great. They are that person that comes in and they just convert right away. They're like, you're everything I wanted. You're everything I needed. Here's my credit card. I've done that, but I would say most of, I need some steps. And so ultimately, we do want everyone to go to graduate to step 5, but usually people need to go in mini wins. That's why Tony Robbins is all about just take it baby steps, just go one step at a time, lessen the overwhelm. So I said to her, when you buy a program, you don't have to change everything. You have to spend that time thinking, where would my client get hung up, my potential client, as they're going through this journey? The same is applicable if you're doing a membership, or even if you're, building out your one-on-one or you're building out a group. I mean, it's all the same thing. We have to sit there and say, what would really seal the deal for this client? If I step into the shoes and I think of my ideal client and all their objections, all their problems, objections like, I don't have any time to cook. I just feel so overwhelmed. When I come home, I'm so tired. The last thing I want to do is take an Epsom salt bath. The last thing I want to do is breathe. There's so many objections that we have because we are, we're human and change is hard. So that's why we hire somebody. But it's much easier on our side from sitting in the coach's perspective to say, hey, what's really great about this program is I've made you a library of videos. And she was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I said, well, I did that for a program back in the day, 8 years ago, I made a library of videos for people who signed up for this transformation. It furthered the conversion because people were like, oh my God, you have a video on how to not overeat, how to handle like a food intolerance. I said, yeah, I've covered it all because I know the questions you're going to ask, because either I've been there or I've had somebody in my life asking those questions. Guys, welcome to owning your signature process, owning your method, owning the confidence that you need to say, I've put this together in, knowing that this is the solution for my client. So without us getting, no joke, into an hour talk, because if you know me, I can talk forever. I want to just tell you where we ended, Mary and I, is that I said, Mary, a lot of coaches make this huge mistake, is we spend so much time thinking about the covers and the platforms, not that they are not important. Guys, brand colors and what platform you use for tech, to not make tech difficult. These are all relevant questions. Like, should I call this a program? Should I brand this program as my signature program? Should this program, what should the name be? Those are all relevant questions, and I'm going to address that on another training. But the biggest problem I see is we don't do enough of thinking about that customer experience and how we can really make it a no-brainer. Because when it's a no-brainer, somebody in every different objection, you're like, you know what? When I developed this program, I really thought about all the problems that you have in your life. And so what I did is I created these little mini videos addressing these problems. And where I left off with Mary, I said, if you are doing this in an e-learning format, Kajabi, Practice Better, Thinkific, Kartra, Teachable, the list goes on. You could even do a masterclass on that topic and say to your client, hey, I know we're working together one-on-one, or when you're in this group, or when you're in this membership. Each week, I have a little masterclass on this. It's only going to be about 20 minutes. You can listen to it Audible, on your phone. You can even watch this on your iPhone. It's only going to take 20 minutes. I'm going to cover a lot of the step-by-step, and the goals for this week. Or you could even break that up into a 20-minute with like an action step of homework, or an action step of solo focused on a specific handout. And that's why in our programs, for me, I was always like, oh my God, handouts. This is the best thing I ever could imagine. It's because people will ask you these very specific questions, like, what is the perfect plate that I should make? Or when I'm eating out, I'm so scared to eat out. What should I really order? And you can even make, or the handouts, we have so many in our programs that address that specific concern. Pro tip, guys, if you ever need to make kind of a quick access doc, do it on Google Docs, because you can actually put in hyperlinks. And this is what I did. If somebody said, well, how can I eat out in a restaurant? I would take a screenshot of the place that they were ordering from, or even just in general. And I would say, here's my general tip, step 1, step 2, step 3. So if you find something that doesn't have that isn't covered in one of the handouts, if not, I guarantee you, as I said to Mary, in that program, there's so much to focus on that you can copy from the program, paste it onto a document, even use one of the documents as a template that's already in there as a handout, and boom, you just created the one-on-one handout system for that particular problem, niche, and ideal client. So she said to me, wow, and so what about PowerPoints and freebies? I said, look, in the programs that I suggested, check out the content that's already in there, because that PowerPoint, you can pre-record that and already get YouTube's to have some know, like, and trust videos. Still to this day, guys, and I said this to Amber today when I was talking to her, and I'm about to get to Amber in a second. I said, I've always asked from day one of my business. I built Rachel's Wellness in 2010. I always poll people on a DM, on a personal message. If they find me and they contact me, I'll be like, and this is my verbiage, make your own. But I always say, oh my God, girl, where'd you find me? How'd you find me? I always like to ask. And everyone always says to this day, I happen to be on Google and I was, searching for something and I found your YouTube video. I really encourage you, even if you're a massive introvert, get over the fear, because video is such a powerhouse conversion tool. It's been proven for many years. And even in this time right now, it's even more effective because people can understand your style of teaching, your personality, and people do have to identify with us on some level to actually buy from us. So I said to her, you can take this freebies, that's content. Blogs, Katrina, who is one of our success stories, she would always take our blogs. Those were her lives. Katrina Sequeza, who has a creative membership and has a lot of our different programs, she would use a blog for a live. After that live, she would take that blog and put it on her blog, and she would download the live from, the video from the live, and then she would upload that into YouTube. And then, of course, she had a video and a blog. It's so easy when you have content. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. Hands down. Don't let anyone not be reals with you. Seriously on that. It's very easy to step into the overwhelm and be like, what am I supposed to talk about? We all feel that. Trust me. Even if you're an extrovert, we all feel overwhelmed with, what do I say? Some of us have a little more innate, kind of a better of a salesperson personality. It's just innately who we are. But that's why I always say practice. Find that in between for yourself and make sure that you are becoming visible and not just hoping that the algorithm loves you, becoming visible on machines like YouTube. And one of my other favorite, of course, is Pinterest because it's so visual. Okay, now let's close this out, guys. Let's talk about Amber. So I've known Amber. I think she joined our membership a year ago. And Amber is a mindset and weight loss coach. And Amber said to me today, Rachel, I want to let you know, I took your 5-day healthy habit challenge because, I know I'm about mindset. Excuse me. I'm about mindset, but I never really looked at this word like healthy habits because it didn't exactly fit into my signature process and system. And so she said, instead of me saying how, what do I need to create? She took that exact freebie. And then she pulled from the 5-day no sugar challenge. She swapped out one of the days to be very specific to feed into one of the hottest topics and problems for her ideal client, which is sugar. And so she made day 3 about really detoxing that sugar so that it was extremely specific for her ideal client. She also talked about how this was step 1 to be able to ultimately get to what? That weight loss and, having that mindset of the success-driven, women in today's age and all the things that Amber is about. She was like, I cannot tell you how amazing that was. Rachel, I got 1,400 signups because she was so clear on what that transformation looked like. She was clear on, okay, I'm going to sit, as I always suggest, and in our brand new freebie, I did an entire series on this, on how to really edit and personalize our programs. She said, I sat there and I carved out time to go through that freebie and say, okay, does this really speak to the pain points of my ideal client? Same thing as Mary was talking about with her signature process with the programs. And she was like, and when I was reading through it, it didn't even take long. I thought, okay, what could I swap that out for that would make it a game changer? And then with conviction, I can say, ladies, if you want to get to this place, and this place is her like step, the ultimate transformation at, number 5, we have to start here at the fundamentals. And she was like, and because I was so crystal clear about that, conversion. And now I have people on my waiting list, for my discovery calls. When you think about your freebies, think about them as really a pre-qualifier. And so these freebies should speak to, of course, their pain points. It should showcase that the specifics that your ideal client is struggling with. And that's how our content truly converts for coaches who spend that time to think, how am I different than anyone else? And Amber and I ended that conversation and I was like, Amber, you've got to be on the Healthy Hustle podcast. Like, this is a no-brainer, sharing how you're just easily able to edit this content. So you spend more time, on discovery calls, pre-qualifying people, nailing down your market research when it shifts and changes. And she said, I think one of the biggest problems that I see with a lot of coaches, similar to our clients, is we lack that confidence that we are different than other people. And so I'm going to close this out and just say, the reason I'm such an advocate for putting yourself in uncomfortable situations in this business, pitching yourself and building your network and pitching yourself to podcast and putting yourself out there, whether it's on a video as pre-recorded, which is what our content's so nice about for that introvert. Keep the camera off, do a 30-second intro, like, hey, this is my name, this is what I do, this is who I serve, and then put the camera off. If you don't even want to show your face at all, it's fine, but you have to do something, because if you don't start owning this signature system, the signature method, this signature transformation that your offers are about, it's going to be really hard to have that confidence to show up with conviction anywhere. And so when you're sitting there thinking about, getting people to actually stop and want to hire you, sit with self and always say, do I believe in myself? You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to feel uncomfortable. There's not one thing in the world when you're doing this kind of stuff that isn't uncomfortable, but I guarantee this. If you take more time to think about your ideal client, think about the biggest problems, think about your freebies, your workshops, your group, your social media post, your video on YouTube, that is the solution. And you think, okay, I know I'm different. This is the confidence part. I know I'm different. And then usually you'll be like, but I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's okay. Because as long as you understand where you're taking your people and you understand what makes it super special, no matter, I hope you will use our content unless you want to make it yourself, but you still have to add in your special magic sprinkle, like I said to Mary. You still have to, use the content and then add in those aspects that diffuse the objections. Because at the end of the day, this is selling. You're selling yourself. You're an independent contractor. Even if you are working for a doctor's office, you are still having to make sure that those clients truly believe in you, that you believe in yourself, and that you have this step-by-step system, which is much more sexy to people, than just saying, oh yeah, when you work with me, we're going to work together for 3 months. And you're going to learn how to eat clean, and you're going to learn XYZ. You're going to learn how to feel energized again. We need to be specific. And in you knowing, what your client has a problem with, I guarantee you've either gone through this transformation or you've helped somebody else. So step into the confident zone. That's the healthy mindset. And the last part of that is, don't just think buying a program or a workshop or a freebie or challenge or anything from us is the end of that road. You still have to say, for my ideal client, for how I view this transformation, what extra things do I need to put in here that really can showcase how different I am than any other coach who's a competitor or somebody in my industry. And so the reason we create content is so that you don't have to create the recipes, all the stuff that I had to do, create the recipes, test the recipes, write the content, hire a copywriter, hire a person to make a sales page, hire a virtual assistant. We want to save you that time, but it still doesn't mean that you shouldn't sweeten that up. And you have a much easier time sweetening it up when you step into the confidence zone of self, because you're meant to do this. This isn't your passion. It is straight up your purpose. It's been a pleasure to be with you here today, guys. I felt compelled to show up today because I've been seeing a lot of these kind of comments. We're going to be covering each week how you can build a specific signature business in all these different niches using our content. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at yourhealthcoachbiz.com. If you want to, of course, learn how you can literally edit the same freebie I used in Rachel's Wellness, which was on my free tool page, go to rachelafeldman.com, download the brand new one, and watch those videos. Do that homework because I'm taking you step by step. Let me just see if there is any questions before we peace out. So he says, I found you by Googling. I was frustrated creating my own programs and thought somebody has to have these programs for coaches. I hear you. I was just talking to a person who's very, very well known, a coach. She's a functional medicine practitioner. She's a hormone specialist. She's autoimmune. I mean, the girl has been around the block with the health issues that she's had. She's recovered. And now, of course, she helps her clients. And she even said the other day, oh my goodness, I created my entire program, but I bought your hormone workshops and your hormone membership because it just wasn't as put together. And I was like, girl, that is exactly why we do this, because that confidence, I was not confident reaching out to all of the people that I reached out locally, online, offline influencers, people I wanted to JV with, people I wanted to speak for, people that I wanted to write a blog for, if I didn't have content that I was proud of. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Somebody's saying, how do we go from sugar to mindset? I will say this. I double dog dare you to drop your questions below. Send me a personal message. Send me a DM. My Instagram is Rachel A. Feldman, F as in Frank, ELD as in dog, MAN. Clearly I do this a lot. It's my accent. Or Facebook friend me. I like to get to have conversations, real conversations, not automated ones, in real time. Pop these questions in, and every one of these trainings will cover your question. So if you have any problems, any additional thoughts for us, make sure that you're either coming into our Facebook group and asking questions, our free one, or just dropping the question down here below, and I will be back. Guys, peace and love. I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Thanks for checking in today. And with that being said, we're going to check out. Bye, guys.